Yo dudes! Welcome to Vegan Steak!
Woo! So we did say the word vegan and steak in the same sentence.
Aha!
But
And it does sound like a complete contrast, but it wasn't until yesterday we tried this and it's amazing. It's easy, it's super, it's amazing. It's
super versatile, it can go great in sandwiches, in burgers, on its own, or in stews or casseroles. Easy to make. Here we go. Core ingredient you're going to use for this is wheat gluten, and that's vital wheat gluten. You will be able to get it at most health food stores. Just to show you, this is the one we used.
We got it in the Asian supermarkets. So, and interesting enough, it's 70 to 80% protein. So this is high protein vegan steak. Okay, so anyway, we've got 250 grams of vital wheat gluten. And it goes into a mixing bowl. Okay, so this is going to add the elasticity, the protein, and essentially this is the carrier of flavor. Time to season it. Garlic powder. We're going to go with 1 teaspoon. Pinch of sea salt.
Yes, go with a generous pinch, my friend.
I'm more than your friend, I'm actually your twin.
Okay, great. Smoked paprika, just to add a sense of meatiness and to add a little bit of
sense of oxtail.
I've gone with about half to a quarter teaspoon. In it goes.
I'm going in with a tablespoon of tamari.
Just use soy sauce if you don't have tamari. 1 tablespoon. In it goes. We said the word vegan steak, so we want this meat to be slightly red looking. We're going to put in 2 tablespoons of tomato puree. Bingo. Okay. Next step, which might seem a little weird, is we're taking half a tin of chickpeas. So that's a 400 gram tin of chickpeas that we've drained and rinsed. We are taking half it. So then we're going to take them and we're going to mash them with...
Or I am going to take them and mash them with a potato masher, just to mash them up and give it a bit of texture. Because otherwise this would end up just a bit too bland or a bit too mono texture.
You'll see what I mean when you make it. It ends up quite tight and quite kind of rubbery. And the beauty about the chickpeas is they'll add a little bit of lightness to it, and they'll also add a little bit more air. Good bashing, darling.
I think I can't really bash it anymore.
So I kind of pretty much leveled. Take it out and just insert. I believe is the proper word, isn't it?
No, just pour it in the bowl.
Okay, pour it into the bowl. Next step, take your 10 mixing spoons. This is best done with your hand. Make sure they are clean, and in they go, and just mix it. And what we're trying to do here is to spread the garlic powder throughout it, to mix the tomato puree, and just to spread that flavor before we add in. Because you'll see, as soon as the water goes in, the gluten will bind very quickly, and it's harder to spread flavor. Okay, great. Now time to add in a bit of moisture to this party. Okay, make a little well.
Okay, so we've got 500 ml of veg stock. We're not going to use it all. We're going to have to measure a little by eye, because obviously gluten each time is slightly different. So we're going to start with maybe half.
We'll start with adding in about half it. Okay, we're going to mix it.
That's about half it we started with.
We're going to mix it in together, and you'll see it'll just come together like a big dough ball. And if it's not coming together enough, we're going to add in more. And now what we're going to have to do is we're going to knead it for about 3 to 4 minutes. By us kneading, 1, we're going to help bring it together, and 2, we're going to help release more gluten and make it even more elastic, even more dough-like. Okay, so we've kneaded that for about 5 minutes, and as you can see, the tomato puree, we did add an extra 2 tablespoons of tomato puree, so that's a whole 4 in total, because we wanted to give it just that sense of red, sense of blood-like feel. You'll see there, it looks very flesh-like. It is remarkably glutinous and
intense. It's almost like muscle. It looks like muscle.
So what we're going to do is we're going to soften the muscle in our gluten. We've made our dough. What I'd like to do is I like to take it and just stretch it around so you get a smooth outer surface. Okay, so if you want to pour in the remainder of the stock into the saucepan, Dave. So we have 1 onion that we've chopped, a small onion that we've chopped finely. It's probably half a large onion. And we've 1 clove of garlic, even 2, whatever you're kind of into. So the beauty is you can shape it whatever way you want. So we're tenderizing our flesh here. Okay, so we took our big lump of carcass of flesh and we've divided it into 5 different steak burgers. In essence,
we tenderized it with the potato masher.
Our meat tenderizer. And now we have 5 steaks. So what we have done is we've taken our 250 ml of stock. We've put in 1 onion that we chopped finely. It was a small onion. We put in 2 cloves of garlic. We filled it up with about another 500 ml of water.
Just so that it's slightly above the edge of the steaks.
So we're going to put in our steaks now into the water. Just make sure that they're not on top of one another. We're going to put in another 2 tablespoons of tamari. The thing with this is this is one of the secrets to Seitan, as this is often referred to, is that we're going to simmer it, not boil. When you do boil it, the bubbles come up at too, high a speed, and they tend to break it up and make it look kind of almost like brain-like texture. What's really important here is that it's a gentle simmer, that it's slowly boiling.
So should we bring it to the boil first and then turn it to simmer?
We're going to bring it to a simmer, and we're going to leave it simmer for 30 minutes.
Okay, so we simmered our steaks away for about half an hour, I'd say, and we simmered rather than boiled.
So it was a gentle simmer.
And they're looking very meat-like. Look at that. Extremely meat-like. And it smells almost meaty-like as well. It's amazing.
Incredibly. And the texture, although that might look crumbly, look, it's really fleshy.
It's really like
fleshy.
muscle.
What I'm going to do is we're going to cut this in half, because right now, what we want to do is we want to season the outside and fry it, just to give it that sense of kind of crisp it off and give it more flavor. Because at the moment there's a bit of flavor in it, but we want to make this banging. So what we're going to do is I'm going to cut it in half. So you'll need a really sharp knife. In it goes. And beware, this is really...
Be careful your fingers. Okay, let's do 2 to start with.
There's 2 to start with. Okay, we're going to make a quick marinade. So I've got David's dear friend, tamari, wheat-free soy sauce. I'm going in with 4 tablespoons. I've got garlic powder. I'm going in with about half a teaspoon. And I'm going to go in with a little pinch of black pepper, smoked paprika. I'm going with about half a teaspoon. In it goes. Give it a good mix. Take our steak, and we're going to really get it in there and really try to get it to absorb as much of that as possible.
So we're going to fry our steaks in coconut oil. I've got a pan on a high heat, and I'm going to add in a good whack of coconut oil. So I've got a good heaped tablespoon there.
Okay, and one of the few reasons why we're frying it in coconut oil, one, it is a higher, I guess,
burn rate.
Higher burn rate or higher resistance to temperature anyway. And 2, it's got a higher saturated fat content, so it's just going to add more fat. Because as you know, steak generally will have a lot more fat than, say, wheat gluten. So I've really marinated that, and look, you can see it's really starting to go brown like steak, and I really want it to absorb it. Ready for me? Oh, look at that. Proper steak-like.
So it looks very steaky.
And when you are massaging it, to really kind of tenderize the meat, if you will, and really try to get it to absorb as much of that tamari as possible. Okay, you ready? Next one, in it goes. Wow, it really is like meat. Okay, so she's cooked. She looks epic. Genuinely
It's a she, is it?
I don't know.
It looks amazing. We've invited Peter, our friend Peter. He's representing the arch carnivore here to do the taste test.
So here we are. We're going to put it down. We've got a steak knife, because this really is like a steak. And you'll see it there. Even it's quite... Peter.
Wow, looks amazing. Thank you.
There you go. To touch.
Okay, here we go. I definitely want to...
You genuinely need a knife to cut this, because it really is grizzly.
Jeez.
What do you think?
Wow, got a really meaty texture.
And flavour?
Chewy, great flavour.
It's like muscle.
Could you pull it off like as a... Obviously it's kind of different, but for a vegan it's quite remarkable in its meat-like texture, isn't it?
Absolutely. I'll put a bun on it, some pickles, amazing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Really
There you are.
delicious.
There you are, vegan steak. Genuinely, this is so meaty, and as a vegan and someone who hasn't had meat in about 15 years, this really tastes like as much as I can remember meat. Worked perfectly in a barbecue. Great in a bun.
You'd fill your friends. Yeah, share it with anyone who you think would enjoy it. Thanks for subscribing and sending you some vegan steak love.
Amazing.
Cheers.